i-netradio.com. i-netradio.com. Dobry den, I Dobropa Jalabat. This is Springtime in Moscow with your host, James Tuthill, and I'm Stephen Stimson. We've got some Russian with a little American, and we're serious with a little humor. So, Jim, what is happening in the world today?
Steve, thank you for the beautiful introduction. I'm Jim Tuthill, and this is Springtime in Moscow. Today, we have a very, very special treat on Springtime in Moscow. We're going to do some cooking in the studio in Jupiter, Florida. I have Nerisa Waterman by my side. We have set up a long table in the studio with some cooking appliances and utensils and everything that you need to cook and the ingredients. And Nerisa and I have on chef's hats and aprons. And on front of the aprons, we even got them specially made. They say i-netradio.com. The greatest cooking station in radio. I want to remind everybody that we are here on i-netradio.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, broadcasting from the Gold Coast of Florida between Miami and South Beach and Palm Beach in beautiful tropical blue sky, Jupiter, Florida. Nerisa, how are you on this magical day in the i-netradio.com kitchen?
I am very excited to be here today.
Thank you. It is so good to be with you today. It's not often that I get to be with my guests right in the studio and a set all made up. Now, you grew up in St. Croix, correct?
Yes, correct.
And that's in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yes, it is.
And roughly how many years did you live there?
About 7 years, and I try to go back to visit as often as I can.
Do you come from a cooking family?
Of course. Of course.
Nice.
Generations of recipes that I've added a little Nerisa twist to them. But,
nice. Yeah. Now, you're a cook at home. You are a cookbook reviewer, along with reviewing many other types of books, including the Buddha of Babylon. And you would someday like to write a cookbook because I think that you have assembled enough recipes that you might be able to put them all into a book. Am I on track here?
You're on track. You're correct, James.
That's good. That is good. Beautiful. This is great. All right. I guess the big question that all our listeners want to hear is, what's on the menu? Wow. And I see in this recipe that we have in front of us here at the studio that I'm looking at these little index cards that you provided me so nicely for each recipe. You must have been up all night typing those.
Cool.
You talk about a little bit of Bob Marley. You know, my son is a huge Bob Marley fan. And Bob Marley's son played linebacker at the University of Miami 20 years ago. So his name was Rohan Marley. So here we go. Something called Johnny cakes, which I think are baked or fried dumplings, aren't they?
Yes.
All right. Now, we have a cup here in the studio, which is marked. A quarter of a cup and a half a cup and 3/4 and so on. Always have a cup, listeners. That's one of your all-purpose pieces of equipment in the kitchen. What are we going to do with that cup, Nerisa?
Well, we're going to fill this cup with 3 cups of all-purpose flour.
Beautiful. You know, Publix has some beautiful flour. They have gold medal flour. I don't know if you ever heard of gold medal flour.
Yes.
Yes.
Gold
and today,
medal.
We're not using gold medal flour. We are using Heartland flour from Minnesota. Very nice. That's a nice touch to add Minnesota to the Virgin Islands. Beautiful.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have tablespoons here. We have a little ring of spoons, tablespoons, teaspoons, all sorts of spoons. That was nice of you to bring those, Nerissa.
You're welcome.
And we're going to add what in terms of tablespoons to our flour?
Okay, so we're going to add 1 tablespoon of baking powder.
Beautiful.
And 2 to 4 tablespoons of sugar.
Good. And a tablespoon of salt.
A tablespoon of salt.
Let's go over a couple things here. I've often wondered, because I haven't spent too much time in the kitchen, I've only cooked 5 dinners since I got divorced. And I think they were frozen dinners. No, that's not true. That's not true. When I was dating a Russian ballerina, I did make a little something once in a while. I did the best I could. Why do cooks use baking powder? What's so great about baking powder? What's the purpose?
Well, you want your Johnny cakes to rise. You want that nice fluffy texture.
Oh, like yeast or something?
Yes.
Oh, so that gets it to rise. I always wondered how those Johnny cakes rose up so beautifully. And brown on top, golden brown on top. Yes. Yes, and we just have simple white sugar. We're not using brown sugar.
Simple white sugar, and the sugar is optional. But
Yes.
I prefer my Johnny cakes to be sweet. Have a little sweet taste to it.
Now,
It is optional.
Nerissa, I'm
Yes.
gonna break your heart here. I grew up as a child in a household we were not allowed to use salt. The reason was my father had 5 heart attacks. And it was always believed that salt was not good for a person with coronary problems. But you're using salt. I guess that's good. You ever heard that salt's not good for you, sodium or whatever?
I've heard that as
Yes.
well.
But we're going to use it. We're going to use it. 1 little teaspoon, all my I-Net radio listeners. It won't kill you. It's okay. It's okay. Why is it so important about room temperature butter? Why can't I just take it out of the refrigerator and use it?
Well, room temperature butter is easy to incorporate into the flours. We don't want any lumps. So that's why we're using the room temperature butter.
Butter and sugar. Wow. This is going to be a feast, let me tell you. And it's going to be a flavored feast. This sounds good.
I'm glad.
Did you dream up this recipe, or is this a recipe somebody handed down for generations in St. Croix?
This is recipes that's handed out from generation to generation, and it's very popular in the Caribbean islands, not just in St. Croix. Johnny cakes is one of our staples.
Oh, nice. I like staples. Very good. And then we're going to add approximately, you tell me, 1.5 cups of milk.
You can use milk or you can use water.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer milk, but I've also used water. So it's really a preference.
Well, I remember one of my mother's favorite dishes was Campbell's canned soup, mushroom soup. And they said on there you could either use water or milk, and it always seemed to taste a little better with milk. Yes.
Okay, well, we're going with milk today.
Yeah, she was a genius in the kitchen. Nobody could open a can of Campbell's soup like she could. Nobody.
Okay.
And then we're going to have oil for frying. What kind of oil have you brought with you today? Just cooking oil? Or have you brought virgin oil from Italy?
I have virgin oil.
Oh, nice.
One of my favorite things to fry Johnny cake.
Nice.
Okay, so we have all our ingredients.
Yes. And we have put this all into some sort of, looks like stainless steel bowl or something. Well, what have we put all this into?
We're putting it in our bowl.
Yes. And
we're going to work the butter into our flour mixture with our fingers. So yes, James, you're going to have to use your fingers here.
Wow. So both of us are going to have our fingers in this butter and milk and sugar and flour. That's nice.
We're just going to incorporate all the ingredients together.
I've always wanted, I record so many shows by Skype. I always wanted to get a little closer to my radio co-hosts. I guess this is my day. Our fingers will be intertwined in
So,
flour and butter. Yes.
so now we're going to add the milk 1 cup at a time.
We are?
Yes, we are. We're adding the milk 1 cup at a time.
Nice.
And we're now making, as you can see, it's a soft dough.
Oh, it feels great to my hands.
So now we're going to sprinkle a little flour on our flat surface, and we're going to knead the dough until it's all well blended.
I've already started kneading. Yes.
Okay.
I'm working this like crazy. Ah, this feels good. My hands are never going to feel better than they do after this. Yes. Mmm. Mmm. And I'm working the butter right now with my fingers. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I noticed, Nerissa, here in the studio or kitchen, that you're putting in about 1/4 of a cup at a time.
Yes.
Yes. Wow.
Because we don't want to add too
Yes.
much liquid to the flour now.
Now
And
I'm standing here working like a little elf. Remember the elves at Christmas time with Santa? I wrote a story one time about Santa Claus City up in the Arctic Pole. Yes. And I sold it to a magazine. It was a beautiful story. I'm kneading this and working my little fingers off just like a little elf.
Okay, well, I think
And I see that as I'm doing this, you're sprinkling more flour, a little more flour. Why are you doing that?
Because it's a little sticky right now, so we don't want such a sticky texture. We want it to, we want to be able to work with it and be able to turn nice little round balls. So now that I think that the dough is at a consistency that we can work with, we're going to leave it in the bowl. And we're going to just cover it with a towel for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to move on to our next.
Now, you know that we only have an hour show here.
I know. Trust me.
Yes.
We're going to be done.
We're going to have to come back to this. Okay.
We're going to come back to it. Don't worry. Everything will be done.
Oh, so, nice. All right. So this is going to be a tricky show. So we're going to go from one topic, the Johnny cakes, and we're going to leave this right over here. I'm going to put this on the side of our table. And it was nice. You brought in a tablecloth and you covered it with that type of paper that you see in Italian restaurants a lot. I like that.
Cooks should always be prepared.
Yes, and you're going to save on cleaning costs for the tablecloth. That's always thinking. Always thinking. Yes. How do you like these aprons that I picked out? Pretty good.
I love them. I like. No, I'm taking mine home.
Yes, you get to take an I-Net Radio apron home with you.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. This is going to be good. Okay. So we're going to come back to our Johnny cakes because we're going to let them sit for maybe 15, 20, I don't know, maybe even 30 minutes, depending.
We'll play by ear. Don't worry.
We'll play it by ear. Yes, we just hope that we get a chance to do it before we go off the air. Yes.
Trust me, you will.
Now, I live here in Miami, Florida. There aren't too many guys like me in Miami, Florida. Just about 98% of the people that live in Miami, Florida have some Spanish heritage or tradition. And when you walk into a Cuban restaurant, they always offer you the same thing, an entree, beans and rice, and plantains. And I have to be honest with you, I love plantains. Now we got a little banana, right? They're almost like banana.
Yes.
Yes. I love sweet plantains. What do you mean it's non-traditional? You put that on the index card.
Well, there's a little twist here.
Oh, this is something that you concocted yourself?
I just added one particular item, and I'm sure other chefs probably has done the same. But it's not really traditional in my family to add dark rum, but I sprinkle a little dark rum at the end there.
You know, I just came back from South Beach with one of my I don't want to rate my hosts. All my co-hosts are wonderful. But with one of my co-hosts, Robert DeLuce, who did our Wednesday show. And I'm happy to report, because I was going to do this show, I didn't drink any alcoholic beverages, no rum for me. Okay, these babies are ripe, Nerisa. I love these. These are ripe. I wouldn't want to leave them another day. Wow. Where did
Yeah.
you get these? Beautiful.
Well, I got them from the farmer's market.
Oh,
I love
nice.
shopping at the farmer's market.
Oh, beautiful. And we have a wonderful farmers market here in Jupiter. We have farmers here, real authentic farmers. The Du Bois family.
Sure
They've got a
do.
few thousand acres out west of Jupiter. What is canola oil? I'm not familiar with that.
It's just another version of vegetable oil, sunflower oil.
Ah,
To make canola oil, it just fries better with the plantains. But it's
yes.
really what your personal choice is. But for me, it's canola oil.
I was disappointed in the Johnny Cakes one part that you were only using, refined white sugar, but you've made me so happy. I see a nice little bag here of brown sugar. Good
That's
thinking. I love that.
okay. So we have your brown sugar.
Don't
The
you
plant.
love brown sugar? Don't you just love the taste of that?
I love sugar. Period.
Yes. And freshly grated nutmeg. At
Yes.
Christmas time, when you have eggnog, you sprinkle some nutmeg on it. There's nothing better than nutmeg.
Yes.
You've thought of everything,
Yes.
Nerisa. And then
No-
we've got a lime. Okay, we have plenty of limes here in the sunshine state of Florida. Yes, we do. And you did not get Captain Morgan's spiced rum. You
No.
just have regular old rum here. Yes. That's
Any
good.
rum will
That's.
do.
I guess you could call that cooking rum.
Yes.
All right, Nerisa, who should peel the plantains, you or I?
I will let you do the honor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Right now, I have started to peel my plantains, and I can do that. I'm not much of a cook, but I can peel a banana, I can peel a plantain. I'm okay with that. What am I going to do with these plantains once I'm finished peeling them? Then they are beautiful and they are ripe, ready to go.
You're going to cut them in thick slices, and while you're doing that, I will heat the oil in our skillet.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we've got extension cords everywhere here in the studio. You can use them for anything you want. We do have a little skillet here set up. And this is going to be great. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm cutting these crosswise, these plantains, and I'm trying to get them about 1/4 of an inch thick. Don't you think that's the way to go?
Perfect.
Oh, thank you. How am I doing? Am I doing a good job?
Perfect. I'm surprised for someone that doesn't cook. You're
Yes. Yes. All right. Now, how long is it going to take once we get these into the skillet for them to become lightly browned on both sides?
About 8 to 10 minutes.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of cooking here. A lot of cooking. Yes. All right. We're going to have a lot going on here.
Now you got to keep up with me because I'm a multitasker.
Yes, I don't know. I've never done anything like this on radio. I feel like I'm Martha Stewart. Yes.
And as you can see, there's a lot of timers on the table.
Yes.
Because I like to multitask.
Okay.
So now,
and then when we come back, I'm going to tell all of our fans around the world. I bet they're not going to find too many plantains in Moscow. Right? I don't know. We may, I guess my Russian listeners are just going to have to use their imaginations on some of this. I don't even know if they sell brown sugar in Russia, but we'll find out. We'll find out. All right, let's keep everything cooking. Okay. We got a lot going on this table. I should have got a bigger table. There's not a lot of room on this table, but we're trying. Okay. Now we're coming to seasoned rice. Now, rice is good for you, isn't it? If you look at Asian cultures, that is the staple of their diet. They actually live by eating rice, correct?
Yes.
It must be very nutritious for you.
I imagine so. I do believe that. I'm a rice lover. I admit that.
Did you know that iceberg lettuce has no calories and no nutritious value whatsoever? You could eat that all day, and eventually, if that was it, you'd die. I'm just giving you a little bit of advice in case you're ever stranded on a deserted island surrounded by iceberg lettuce. Okay.
Well, I didn't know that. Thank you for the tip.
I try. I try. Wow, this is some seasoned rice. Look what you have arrayed here on the table. And you know, I love sweet peppers right from the farmer's market. I don't know if it was the Du Bois farm, but it's one of those farms out west. You know where the Everglades sort of meet the mainland. They grow an awful lot of vegetables out there, a lot of vegetables. I see sweet pepper, very nice, very nice. And you have a couple of celery stalks here, and garlic cloves, which you've crushed. You did a lot of preparation work before I got to the studio,
Yes.
Nerisa.
Yes.
I thank you. You had this all set up. So we've got pepper and celery, and I left out something, onion. A small little white onion. You know those Bermuda onions, the red ones? Well, we've got a nice white little onion here. Yes. Now tell me why you've chosen oregano and thyme, or whatever it is. Why are those? Why do you want those for your seasoned rice?
Because it gives the rice a nice, fragrant smell and flavor, and it's just one of my favorite things to put inside the rice. Now, for me, oregano and thyme, too much is a bad thing. So that's why I've made sure that I already pre-measured this for you, James.
Oh, nice.
A tablespoon.
A tablespoon of each. You know, I shop at Publix about once every 2 weeks. Okay. I don't buy much food because I don't cook, but you have to buy cleaning supplies. You have to buy toilet paper. At any rate, when I go by the spice aisle, I notice that stuff's expensive.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
So this is not the cheapest recipe. We've got beautiful olive oil here.
Yes.
And we've got oregano and thyme and garlic cloves. And look over here. Saison. Ah, I love Saison. Tell our listeners about Saison.
It is every spice that you can imagine that just when you open the packet, it says Caribbean. You have your oregano, your thyme, your black pepper, your salt, everything just all combined into one. It's just simple. You can't miss it.
That's Saison for all of our listeners. That's Sazon as in Nancy. Saison. Remember to pick that up the next time you're at the store in Russia. And you go into the Putin grocery store. That's the biggest store in Russia, Putin's grocery, Putin's supermarket. Yes.
And I'm just going to flip our plantains if we don't want to burn the studio.
Oh, we're flipping the plantains. Nice, nice. You're always thinking, Nerisa. You're always thinking. Now, on our seasoned rice, we're going to use the old standard, salt and pepper, folks. Now, everybody's familiar with that. Yes.
To taste, whatever makes you happy.
Yes. And how much rice are we going to do this with?
2.5 cups of rice.
Oh, nice. Nice. And you wash your rice first?
I wash my rice. Some people don't. It's a personal preference, but I wash my rice.
Always wash your vegetables because you don't know what kind of pesticides they may be using out of the Du Bois farms. Any farm. I don't want to get sued by the Du Bois.
And then we're going to cook it. We have 4.5 cups of hot water.
Oh, nice.
Tomato sauce.
Did you make this tomato sauce or is this ragu?
This is canned tomato sauce.
Oh, nice. Del Monte, I see. Ah, beautiful. You know, I went to law school in Sacramento, which had the biggest Del Monte plant in the world. Yeah. Okay, I see you heating our pot with olive oil.
Yes.
Before I got here, you already diced those little onions, peppers, and celeries.
Of course. So now we're just sauteing our...
Oh, I love to saute, because that's easy. That's easy. And we're going to bring them to a translucent color, whatever that is. I guess I'll know it when I see it.
Yeah. So when we get to that consistency, then we're going to add the garlic.
Okay.
We're adding the garlic last because burnt garlic is the worst thing. So we're just going to Wait till it gets a little translucent, and then we're going to add the garlic.
Yes. Now this sautéing's going to take a number of minutes, correct? And then we're going to come back and add some other thing.
So now we're going to run back to the fried plantains.
We're going back to our fried plantains?
Yeah. As you can see, they're lightly brown on both sides.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
So
they are gorgeous. Ah! and are you going to take these out of the heater? We don't want them to get overdone.
Yes, we're taking them out of the heater.
Yes.
We're putting this beautiful platter.
Yes.
And we're going to now sprinkle it with the brown sugar and the
Oh, you put them on paper toweling. Oh, you think of everything, Nerisa.
Yes. Yes.
We have paper toweling, gobs of paper toweling, big rolls. Yes. And I see you sprinkling the brown sugar. Oh, you use both hands. You're a two-handed sprinkler.
Well, is this too much sugar for you, James? I can slow down.
No, I love brown sugar. I love it. I used to eat it kind of raw. I also did the same thing with the white sugar.
You can tell me, hold on, because like I said, I am a sweetaholic.
No, that's good. What do you want me to do with these limes?
Squeeze the limes over the plantains. Well,
okay.
I get a bottle of rum.
Well, let me start here. I'm going to squeeze a little lime over these plantain slices, which you have so wonderfully sprinkled with brown sugar and nutmeg. Okay. I'm very proud of you. Yes.
And here we go with the rum.
Yes. Okay. Now, and then, Nerisa, you know, I was a bartender when I went to Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And rum was not that popular. I hate to admit this, but back in those days, they were into harder liquor, like Canadian whiskey and Scotch whiskey. But today we have rums and vodkas and gin. And how much rum am I going to sprinkle over my little plantains here?
As much as you like, but let's just do about 2 tablespoons.
You don't want them to be floating, correct?
No, we don't want to be floating. So let's just do about 2 tablespoons of rum.
Oh, that's nice.
And there you have it.
And then we're just going to let them sit?
Well, we're now going to transfer it to the second platter because we're going to take it off the napkin and, you know, so we can have a beautiful presentation.
Oh, nice. Now, you know, I know people who marinate all sorts of foods. What if we let these plantains sit in rum overnight? Will that really make them unbelievable and maybe get some of our I-Net radio listeners a little drunk?
I have actually done that before.
Oh, nice.
I soaked it in the rum and then I served it with a scoop of ice cream. It was heaven.
Oh! Oh! Okay, so that's plantains a la mode.
Yes, sir. Yep. So we're done with the plantains, and now I'm going to add the garlic to our veggies because it's now translucent, so we're fine. So, as you can see, I have a little container here of black olives. I wasn't sure if olives was your thing.
Well, where are we? Tell me which recipe we're on now.
We're back to the seasoned rice now.
Oh, we're back to seasoned rice. We're not back to my Johnny cakes. Okay.
No. We're back.
Okay, what are we? I see what you have. You're holding. What are we doing here? What's up?
Now, some people put olives in their seasoned rice. Yes. I wasn't sure if this was something that you were interested in.
I love olives. I love green stuffed olives with what is that in the middle? Pimentos or something?
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna throw in the olives with the garlic, and we're gonna do a little bit more sautéing, and then now we're gonna add the dry seasoning.
Nice. Okay. Nice. And so we've already described those wonderful, wonderful dry seasonings. I don't know if anyone wants us to go over those again, but we have garlic cloves, oregano, thyme, sazon, salt and pepper.
Okay.
I can't wait to sit down and eat. I may do it before this show's over. Yes.
Okay, so now.
Oh, I see. You're tasting this to see if the salt is okay.
I'm a taste tester. I'm sorry.
Yes. I wondered why you were eating ahead of me. Yes.
That's why I have my special little plate on the side. I'm a taste tester.
Yes, you have your own spoon. I see that. Nice.
If you like, I can get you a plate as well and a little spoon so you can taste test along with me. Would that make you happy?
Oh, that would be nice.
Okay, so here you go.
Nice.
Have
Yes.
your plate and your spoon, and we're gonna taste test as long as we go. So how does this taste so far? The combination of the seasoning. Okay.
And I see you're moving the heat up. How high are you going to get this rice to with the hot water and your tomato sauce?
We're boiling
Wow.
rice.
Beautiful.
So add in the rice and all of our ingredients and the tomato sauce and everything, and we're gonna bring the rice to a boil.
Yes.
Okay, so now that it's
starting slowly, a little bit. It's starting to bubble. I love that.
Okay, so when we get to that rapid boil, we're gonna cover with the lid. We're gonna reduce it, and we're gonna let it cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay.
Well, I think we're going to be able to complete that before this show's over. So all of our listeners, don't leave, because wait till you see what we're producing here.
Okay.
Now, can we move, while we've got everything going here, can we go to our macaroni pie?
Yes, we can.
Oh, this is a special, you're kidding me a little bit. This is also known as macaroni and cheese.
Yes, baked macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
But in the islands, we call it macaroni pie.
Oh, no.
Now, this is what I call comfort food. This is not something that you want to eat every day or on a weekly basis. It's quite rich.
It is. This is going to put weight on you.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So do you want to tell the audience our ingredients?
Well, I can say one thing. I'm standing right next to you, and it has not put weight on you. You're in perfect physical condition.
Well, thank you very much. But like
Yes.
I said, this is not something that I eat every week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's true. We're going to have to post some pictures of you and I in our outfits. Yes.
Yes.
It will happen.
iNet.
It will on the I-Net Radio Studios. Yes. William Roger Cummings he's the only person that ever posted a picture of the studio in Jupiter, Florida. We should have brought William Roger with us today. All right, we're going to use just plain old in one of those little boxes with the glass scene in the middle, I see.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have raw elbow macaroni.
Yes. 16-ounce box, which equals to 1 pound.
Nice. And again, you love that room temperature butter. Folks, don't take that butter out of the refrigerator. You let it sit there for a while.
2 tablespoons of room temperature butter.
Yep.
And here we have already grated 2.5 pounds of extra sharp cheddar cheese.
2.5 pounds. How many servings are we going to have here?
We're going to have enough to make sure that everyone in this studio will be happy at the end of the show. So it should be about maybe 6 to 8 servings. Nice.
And you shredded this.
Yes.
You are the perfect kitchen person.
Well, you know what? Working with a food processor just doesn't work for me. So yes, I shredded. I did this.
Another thing I've always wondered, and no one has ever told me. You've got on here evaporated milk. Who gives a darn if it's evaporated? Why can't I just use plain old milk?
Well, evaporated milk is a little bit thicker. It has a thicker consistency than whole milk. And then sometimes I use half and half, and sometimes I even use heavy cream. But the idea is we want that thick consistency from the milk.
And look at these eggs. You bought a dozen, but I don't think you're going to be using those. I would love to meet the hen that laid these eggs. They are sparkling.
We're going to use 5 eggs today.
Nice.
And then we have...
Why are you so big on garlic? Everything you cook has garlic in it.
I think in the islands we love our food to be flavorful.
Okay.
So we just use all the spices that are available to us.
Yes. And I see over here, you really went through the spice aisle at the supermarket here. You have onion powder, ground
Yes.
black pepper. Nice. How much of each? How much garlic, onion pepper, and black pepper are you going to add to this wonderful recipe?
Well, I use 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, that ought to do it. I'll tell you that. Now we come to another mystery. Kosher salt. Kosher salt. Why kosher salt?
It's a personal preference when it comes to boiling pasta or cooking pasta. Kosher salt gives the pasta a better flavor to me. Personal preference. And it's optional in regards to how much. You can use 1 to 2 tablespoons of kosher. I use the 2 tablespoons, but it's optional. You can use 1. It's up to you.
All right, all our fans, go down to the store and get yourself some kosher salt. I don't know, maybe I have Russian Orthodox Jewish Orthodox listeners. They may already have kosher salt in the kitchen. You never know. I don't know where all my listeners are going to come for this show.
Okay.
All right. Now, we're going to throw all of this into a bowl.
Yes.
You've got another bowl. You brought all your kitchenware with you, Nerisa.
Exactly.
Nice.
I love her appliances, and wherever I go, they go with me. So
now, on the stove, and we can't lie to our listeners. The studio is located in a portion of Stephen Stimson's house, so we do have access to a stove, okay? And I think, from what I see here, you're going to bring a large pot of water, maybe 4 to 5 quarts to a boil, right?
Exactly.
Nice. Nice.
So
this is great. This is great. So we're going to come back to this after we get things boiling, or what are we going to do?
We're going to come back to this. When the water starts to boil, we're going to add our macaroni.
Yes.
Macaroni, we're going to add it. So let's give it about 8 to 10 minutes to bring this to a rapid boil.
We may have been a little bit ambitious here on the show today, because I think Martha Stewart only does 1 or 2 recipes at a time. And you and I are going to cook an entire recipe book here. But that's nice.
We're going to get it. We have time.
Potato stuffing. Nice. Yeah. Tell me, what you mean, that's where you have the skin and then you stuff it with something?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, as you can see, I went a little bit ahead because I know we had limited time. So, yes, the potatoes are already cooked. And as you can see, we have sauteed garlic, onions, bell peppers, celery, and raisins.
Raisins.
Yes.
One of my favorites. So I want everybody out there in Radio Land to write this down. For this potato stuffing, you have to have a stick of butter. You got to have nice vegetable oil. Don't get that cheap stuff from Sam's Club. Get yourself some nice vegetable oil. 1 can of milk, 1 onion, and chop that thing nicely. Chop it and dice it. Put some effort into that. Just don't throw that onion in whole. And the bell pepper, and chop that up too. And a little celery. 2 cloves of minced garlic. Raisins, and here you go again. One of my favorites, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I can't believe how many ingredients go into this potato stuffing. Wow. And then we have hot pepper. Why do you like Goya tomato sauce for this recipe so much?
I just like the flavor of it. It's well seasoned. It's something that my family has used from generation to generation. Goya. So I haven't tried any other brand to compare it to, so I'm sticking with Goya.
Poultry season, and I think I've told you. My family had literally one of the biggest duck farms in the world.
Yes.
Those were the days. Someday, on one of our next shows, we're going to cook duck. Long Island duck.
Oh.
Long Island is the most famous place for duck in the world. Pekin duck.
Yeah. I know that.
Yes. Now, you've already done the potatoes, correct?
It's already cooked.
Peeled, sliced, and boiled. Oh.
Yep.
Now we start the sautéing process with our garlic, our onions, our bell peppers, our celery, and our raisins.
Yes.
Now, all of our listeners, Nerisa, while I'm talking, is running around the studio like crazy and over in Steve's kitchen, adding and moving and sautéing and boiling and doing all sorts of things.
I'm a multitasker. I have to,
Yes.
keep on moving. I don't
Now,
sit over one item.
It's amazing what you can do, and let's face it, this is sort of a improvised kitchen here because we have to be near the microphones, our boom microphones, and this is tricky. And then when we get them sautéed, the garlic, the onions, the peppers, the celery, and the raisins, we're going to add sugar, tomato sauce, hot peppers, and seasoning. Oh, man.
So tell me, James, do you like it hot or just a little bit hot?
Yeah, a little bit hot.
Okay, so we're just going to just a little pinch of pepper.
I like hot food. I eat Szechuan Chinese food. I like it hot. But I think on potato stuffing, I'm just going to go with mildly hot. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do a little mild hot.
Yes.
And right now, we're just going to let it simmer for a bit.
Nice.
You smell those flavors? You smell it? Okay.
And then you have chicken wings arrayed on this table.
Yes. We have
a lot of chicken wings. Boy, we're going to be feeding an army here.
We're going to feed everyone in this room.
Oh, these chicken wings look good. Very good. I like chicken wings. That's a big thing here in Florida, chicken wings.
Okay. So,
yes. And we got 3 pounds of them, radio listeners. 3 pounds. You may not need to cook quite all this much just for yourself and your significant other, but we have 3 pounds of chicken wings here.
Well, we're making a feast, and everyone in this room.
Yeah, your recipes are big, big, big. Did you come from a big family?
Yes. Yes, and we're a family that likes leftovers.
Oh,
so
nice.
Trust me, when you try these leftovers tomorrow, oh my gosh.
Oh, at Thanksgiving, you guys must eat for a week after.
Oh, you know what? It feels like a week.
Yes.
And
it sure does. Now, one of the things that I notice is different than what we've already done, because you have large onions here. You've done a beautiful job slicing those. Mm-hmm. You've sliced those sweet peppers, and you've chopped your little tomatoes. You also have sofrito.
Yes.
I love sofrito. Tell our listeners what sofrito is. I can't go to sleep at night until I've had my sofrito.
Well, sofrito is basically sauteed peppers and tomatoes and onions and ground pepper and every spice that you can think of that you can get from the islands is in this sofrito. Now, everyone has a different signature sofrito.
And, of course, you even have carrots for this stewed chicken.
Yes.
Which, I think that's sort of standard fare. Carrots and chicken in stewed chicken. My mother used to make it that way. Okay, when she wasn't too busy opening up cans of Campbell's soup.
Oh, God.
She was putting in those carrots and potatoes. Yes. And here we go again. Cloves of garlic, minced, thyme. Is that how you pronounce it, thyme?
Thyme, yes.
Yes, sprigs of fresh thyme. Martha Stewart got into a huge mess with Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth started her own cooking show called Goop, I think. And Martha said Gwyneth should stay out of the kitchen. It was her idea, and she should have a monopoly on it. I hope that Martha Stewart doesn't take offense at what you're doing here, Nerisa. I'd hate to get on Martha Stewart's wrong side. Over 20 years ago, she has a beautiful home in the Hamptons, in East Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
And she backed out of her driveway and purposely tried to run over her neighbors. So we don't want to get in Martha's way.
Okay,
yes.
We don't want to get Martha upset.
No, and we're going to use maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of brown sugar.
Yes.
And cooking oil. Oh, this is something else. So all of my listeners around the world, and I think that even in Moscow, you can lay your hands on most of this.
Yes.
Chicken, we're going to have a lot of chicken wings, and you Muscovites, you love to eat. And it certainly shows that you love to eat. I guess you have to be big to ward off those Russian winters. We got 3 pounds of chicken wings and poultry seasoning and onions and peppers and tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, garlic, thyme, 4 cups of water, brown sugar. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We've got everything here. This is a feast. And of course, Nerisa is a traditionalist. She always has a little salt and pepper lying around to place into everything.
To taste. And as you can see, there's a special bowl over here, and we have marinated chicken wings. I marinated them last night, overnight.
Oh!
Just so you can get all the true flavors of all the season mixture. So
you were here last night. Did you and Steve record any shows while I wasn't here? I hope so. I would love to take a day off. Maybe you two recorded something.
We were taste testing the rum. I'm sorry.
Yes. Steve is thin. He could eat 3 pounds of chicken wings and get away with it. Yes. Yes.
So right now I'm frying the chicken.
So you marinated this overnight?
Yes. When it comes to any kind of poultry or beef or anything, I always marinate at least 7 hours or at least overnight, because I want you to get the full flavor of the spices.
Beautiful. And now what are we going to do? What's our next step?
Well, right now I'm frying the chicken, and we're going to do it till it's brown. We're not cooking the chicken. We're just browning the chicken. Nice. So some family members, we use a browning sauce. I don't. I think I can achieve the brownness without the extra help, because the brown sauce does nothing for the chicken. So we're browning the chicken in the pot, and we're sauteing the onions and the peppers and the garlic, and everything's in the skillet.
Oh yeah. Yes, it is. Now, you cross every T and dot every I. Yeah. You have thought of everything. You even have dreamed up a beverage. What is that?
Yes. It's one of my absolutely favorite beverage. And it's made from hibiscus flowers. It's a tea. Oh. It can be served hot or cold. But in the Caribbean, we call it sorrel.
Sorrel.
Yes. Yes. And it's just basically, like I said, it's dried hibiscus flowers that we've soaked overnight again with a little ginger, fresh grated ginger and orange peel. And we brought the water to boil. Of course, sugar. Yes, I used sugar. 2 cups of white sugar. And basically, it's really simple. Now, you have a choice, James.
Yes.
Now, some people, we just pour it over a glass of ice. Some add soda water. Some add red wine. And as you can see, we have a nice bottle of dark rum. I prefer dark rum in my glass. What should I put in yours?
I love dark rum, and you went out and you got Captain Morgan's dark rum. I love it. Love it.
In this case, you want a good rum.
Yeah, let's skip the stuffed potatoes. We'll just sit here and drink Captain Morgan's rum.
We can't skip the potatoes, but we can have them.
Yes.
So, let's give them.
Now, I have to explain this to people. We've got 3 cups of sorrel sepals, or sepals. What is that?
It's the hibiscus flower. Dry hibiscus.
Oh, yeah. Why hibiscus flower? On the first house I ever lived in, we had hibiscus bushes all around with beautiful red flowers. Is that the same thing?
Yes.
Flower from flowers?
Yeah, they're edible. A lot of people don't know that.
You mean I could have given my children those hibiscus flowers and saved myself a lot of money?
Made some beautiful tea, hot tea or cold tea. or sorrel. And
I should have been out there I was just, when I clipped those hedges, I just threw that stuff away. I could have fed a family of 5 on that.
See, you have to learn to use the resources.
Yes, waste not, want not. Yes. That's why I always finish my Campbell's mushroom soup. And we have dried, this is what we're going to do, folks, along with the sorrel sea pals, the hibiscus flower. You're going to get yourself some dried orange peel, a half a cup of freshly grated ginger, and you're going to need 6 cups of boiling water, because we're feeding a lot of people here, 6 cloves, and 2 cups of sugar. Even though Nerisa has stated that you can cut this to 1 cup if you're on this is so much sugar in this meal, I don't know if you're going to live through it, but that's okay. And then you are going to place all this in a half-gallon jar or pot with ginger, the orange peel, and the clove. We're going to pour the boiling water over it, and we're going to let it stand for 24 hours. I guess we'll have to come back and finish this show on another day. And then we're going to strain and sweeten and pour this wonderful, beautiful concoction into bottles. And then we're going to pour it over ice. And we may even add soda water. Woo!
And that is why
And you like Cruzan dark rum. Do you know that I know the guy who really started what became Cruzan? His name is Kenny Pincourt. And he had a rum refinery in the islands, including Nassau. And when he sold out to Cruzan, which is owned by the Polish government and the Swedish government, and Kenny didn't have to work anymore. He moved to Beverly Hills, just like the Beverly Hillbillies. So there's my Cruzan dark rum story. It's nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, we're going to, we only have 8 minutes, Nerisa, to finish what we're doing here. Let's go back to our Johnny cakes. What has happened to our Johnny cakes?
Well, let's go back to the Johnny cakes. The chicken is already in the pot simmering.
Yes. I smell it.
15 more minutes to go. So, like I said, I'm a multitasker. I've already mashed the potatoes with the butter and the milk, and that is also in the oven. And the macaroni, of course, that was boiling in the pot. I've also combined all the ingredients, and I put that in a beautiful Pyrex dish in a preheated oven of 350 degrees, and it's going to take about another 20 minutes, so we're waiting for it to get golden brown, but that's also in the oven.
Now the Johnny cakes are a little trickier, because when we uncover our recipe with the towel and we let the dough rest, we're going to have heating oil in a frying pan, and we're going to sprinkle the surface, and we're going to create small balls and roll out the dough into circles with a rolling pin or the palm of your hand. This really, Nerisa, I love this. You don't need utensils when you cook with you. And eventually we're gonna pierce each piece with a fork several times, or cut the slices and drop in hot oil. This takes some time, those Johnny cakes, but they will come out golden brown for all you people in Siberia. You're gonna love these. And you're going to drain them on a paper towel. And we've got enough paper towel here in the studio to absorb a huge amount of water. And that's going to be it. And then on our plantains, that's where we are, right? Where are we with these plantains? Tell me.
They're done.
Oh.
They're on the platter.
Oh,
They're just
great.
for us.
Oh,
They're
that's
done.
nice.
We're waiting for the timers for the other things. But here, you take a piece of dough, and I'm going to take my dough, and we're going to do the Johnny cake.
Yes.
We're going to do it right now, so we're going to drop it in the oil so that we can have the Johnny cake, at least one, to go with our meal.
Yes, I guess we're going to be eating after the show is over. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, is there anywhere where our listeners can get copies of these wonderful recipes? Because they may not have written down everything that we said.
Wow, let's see.
Yeah.
I don't know, James. We're going to have to put it up on the iNet radio site.
I am going to post these recipes on i-netradio.com Facebook. And anybody who wants to get these recipes, go to i-netradio.com Facebook, you'll see Stephen Stimpson's picture, as big as life on there. He looks like a movie star. I don't know what he's going to look like after he eats all this, but he looked like a movie star back then. And that's where we are. Okay? And, okay, now, we're going to bring the... what about our macaroni pie? Where are we with that?
Okay, well, here is a little trick that I have learned from my grandmother. You see,
Yes.
these tiny little containers, these are our taste testers. Of course, they cook faster. So you have your own little mini macaroni pie. You have a little mini container of potato stuffing. You have your mini container of seasoned rice. You have all the sweet plantains you can eat. And our Johnny Cakes is almost done. So while the bigger portions is cooking in the oven, we can feast on our little sample size now.
I can't wait to eat Johnny Cakes.
Here we go.
This is going to be good. Now remember, folks, you've got to use a preheated oven, right? And it's got to be preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to cook those babies until they're golden brown for about 30 to 45 minutes. Now don't leave them in the oven too long or you'll get more than golden brown. You don't want them to turn charred on you or whatever. All right.
Okay.
And that's that for that. And where are we right now on our wonderful and fabulous potato stuffing?
Well, the main potato stuffing, the huge porridge dish that I put in, is not done. But right in front of you, as you can see, I am plating for you the miniature one that I've made for us.
This is going to be terrific.
And I am now looking for a nice wine goblet so we can put our sorrel and rum in.
Yes.
So, and there you have it.
We're not going to be drinking red wine or white wine. We're going to be drinking right out of our wine goblets the sorrel.
That's right. A little hibiscus flower on the side for a little design. So Here you have it. This is for you, Jim. This is your plate. You have Johnny Cake, sweet fried plantains, seasoned rice, macaroni pie, potato stuffing, stewed chicken, and a nice healthy glass of sorrel. And these are my comfort food, my favorites that remind me of St. Croix, my home.
Yeah.
And later on, the rest of the crew will be able to enjoy as well.
Yes.
So
and one of the most amazing things that you turned me on to on this show was this sorrel. I mean, that's better than drinking wine.
I know. It's my favorite.
Yes, this is better than a Riesling or what? Name a red wine for me. I'm drawing a complete blank here.
Okay, name a red wine for you. Let's see.
We can't name any. All right.
Oh, Merlot.
Merlot! Yes, this is going to be better than Merlot any day of the week. Any day of the week. Yes. And look at this. Over in the corner at Steve's little table, you've set things so beautifully with a water glass and these wine goblets. And this is truly a vision. When people come to your house, do you do this every day of the week?
Actually, yes. It's all about the presentation.
Yes.
I have to admit, when I cook, I go all out. Because it's a labor of love. So why not go all the way?
Yes. Oh, that's nice. And I'll bet your guests appreciate every little bit of that. Yes.
I hope so. They always ask me to cook, so I guess they do.
Yes. Now, Nerisa, let's go to your book site. What's your website?
It is myohosisters.webs.com. And I'm going to spell it for you. It's
good.
MYOHOSISTERS.webs, WEBS.com, COM.
Nice.
And click on my blog link and you will find all of the different books, including the featured cookbooks.
Yes.
And you can find a lot of amazing recipes.
Yes. And everybody, this is Nerisa Waterman. I'm not going to spell Waterman for you. If you can't spell Waterman, you're not going to be able to do these recipes. And you can find Nerisa all over the internet. And we're going to post these wonderful recipes on i-netradio.com just for you. Nerisa, I want to thank you so much for doing this show with me. And guess what? I'm going to do the cleanup. You're just going to sit there and guzzle down sorrel after sorrel, and I'm going to clean everything up here. All right?
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, it was my pleasure to do this show with you. We want to wish all of our listeners around the world, from Moscow to Miami to Montgomery, Alabama, a beautiful day. Bye-bye, Nerisa.
Bye-bye.
i-netradio.com. i-netradio.com.